This is Danny with QuadLugs, and we're going to be building the 540 camera quad. So let's get started. Again today we're building with some used lugs and wood. This has been on a couple of other multi-rotors that I've built and tore down, and we're using it to build another one. These can be used over and over and over. The QuadLugs can be used over and over again. So you build one, you get tired of flying it, or you want something a little bit different, or you want to do some modifications to it. It's real easy. You can use the lugs over and over. And a lot of the same wood components too. So as you can see, that's what we're doing today. So we're going to get rolling. I'm going to go ahead and move this wood out of the way. On the 540 camera quad, the body is 9 inches long, about 4.5 inches wide. The arms, the motor arms are 7 inches long, and the landing gear is 4 inches long. And again, all of this is on the product page. We give all the wood sizes and lengths, so in case you are using some lugs that you already have and you need to figure out what wood to buy or use, you'll be able to see what we're doing with it. Or if you're buying the lugs just alone as lugs only. And on the flat sheet, it's a one piece that's 6 by 9 inches, and another piece 3 inches by 6 inches. And of course, if you get in the kit, you'll get all the screws with it and everything, and you'll also get the body. And we have a video, and I'll tag it at the end here on how we put it together. We'll be furnishing it in a flat sheet. And how to put it together. We also have a video on installing it. You'll get a battery mount, and again, this is a used battery mount. I'm recycling on this one again, and of course the KK board holder. Anyway, so what we're going to do, and again, if you don't mind, go over to the quick build guide. And it'll walk you through on prepping all this. It's like 10 or 11 videos, and they're 4 to 5, 6 minutes a piece. And it walks you through each item and how to prep it and to install it. But on the motor arm lugs, you'll have one hole to drill here, and that's to accept, for the screw for your landing gear. This hole here is already in, but we'll drill it through. And we do that so we can screw the deck in. There's a hole here that's not created when it's molded, so we have to drill it out. And the way we normally do that is, take the adjustment head, put it on, make sure it's pushed down all the way, put your bit through, and we're going to use an 1/8 inch bit. And you just drill it through, and when it's done, it'll show up there where the nut receptor is. It'll go all the way through. But again, go over to the quick build guide, and it'll walk you through all of that. So one other thing too, if you don't mind to kind of keep an eye on, is that whenever, these are going to wind up going like this. And if you want these screws that screw on your landing gear on the same side, you'll have to take that in consideration, whenever you drill these. And the best way to do it, I do, is like that. And see, that one would be on the wrong side. So let's do it this way. I think I have, these are already drilled. There we go. So one of them's drilled on both sides. So just take that in consideration. Just set them like that. That's how they're going to go. The connecting wood goes into the center. and drill your holes and you're in good shape. If you do make a mistake on it, you can always drill it on the other side, and if you want all of them to look the same, just go ahead and drill them all on the other side, and you'll have, a hole on either side. Okay, so we're going to get started here. And again, you can tell these have been used a little bit. Now this is going to be facing down on this one. And we'll get these on. Then we're going to have one extra single in the back. It's going to look like that. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Let me do it this way. This thing go on. Okay. Put our other motor arm, and we'll make sure our 90s are pushed in all the way. And I'm setting this one up with the screws are all going to be at the top. You could have these turned around and have the screws at the bottom, no problem. So we'll get our crossover wood, or our cross reinforcement wood, and make sure it's pushed all the way in, and the same with these. And we'll be ready to put the frame together. And you'll just have to get them all started and then push it together. There we go. And then just push it together. Now the way we're going to check this, these motor arm legs are going to go all the way to the 90s. This one's pretty easy. There's all the way to the 90. Now the way we can check this, these are 9-inch, and you should have 9-inch inside to inside. And we're at 9. And we're at 9. This way you have 4.5. And you should have 4.5 this way, side to side. And we have 4.5. And we have 4.5. That may be a 1/16 off, but it's no big deal. And then we want to make sure again that it's all pushed in. We're going to double check that in a minute, but we're ready to go ahead and lock this thing in. We're going to use our 16th inch bit. We're going to drill a pilot hole. You don't go all the way through with it. You don't go all the way through, but you halfway or so, a 1/4 inch or so. And then we'll go ahead and use 5/8 long screws. And of course, all this comes with the kit. If you're doing this with lugs that you bought, they'll also come with the lugs. If you need, we give you like double the screws, so you'll have extras if you're, tearing down or rebuilding, or if you have a mishap with one, or a few of them actually. But if you ever need to get them, your hobby shop, local hobby shop, or Lowe's and Home Depot, I think, even carries it. So no big deal, they're easy to get. So let's just double check this again. And we're at 4.5, actually just a hair bit over 4.5. And we're good there. And let's just make sure here we should be 9. And we're at 9 on the nose, that's good. 9 exactly. So let's go ahead, now that we've checked that, we'll drill the pilot holes again with a 1/16 inch bit. And we'll screw this together. This is a really nice flying quad. The camera quad is really, really good. I call it camera quad because this is what I use to haul my GoPro. I'm still using a GoPro 2, so I guess I'm a little bit behind times. That and a Mobius, and I tell you, I've grown to really like the Mobius. It's just so easy. Again, convenient. But this one will haul a gimbal and the GoPro around, and it does a real good job with it. Or if you just want to do some sport flying with it, I mean, it's great for that too. This thing flies like a dream. So anyway, it's all locked together. Again, I just want to make sure that nothing moved on me. And that's always smart to do instead of catching it later. And this is about a 1/16 wider than 4.5, and I'm plenty happy with that. Exactly 9. And exactly 9. We're in really good shape. And we're good. Okay, and what we're going to do on these, we're going to hold this off about, 3/8 of an inch off of the arm here. And I'm going to go ahead and get that measured. And actually we may be just a hair bit more than 3/8, but it's not going to be any big deal. I think that's about where I want it. Okay, that should be good. And then this is where the ESC is going to go, and we're going to have that at about 3 inches. And that's outside to outside. So we're going to kind of set this one, and that's 3 inches right there. And we'll go ahead and actually mark these like this. It'll be easier to see. And we're going to move that one a little bit. That's pretty darn close right there. Now I think I'm going to again mark these on the outside, because when I have my deck in, I'll be able to see it. Now these here are going to just be for some extra support and to screw the body on, and we're going to keep that about 3/8 of an inch, just like the front. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball that for right now. You want to make sure that the motor arm lugs are, pushed all the way to the 90. And we're going to go ahead and drill these out and get the arms on. Now these already have the holes in it, but what you want to do whenever you get these ready is, push your wood in. And again, make sure that it's pushed all the way in. You want it, all the way in there. And on the motor mount lugs, it does not come with a hole in it. So you'll have to drill this hole. You can go through the side or through the bottom here. I normally go through the bottom. I just got in the habit of doing it, it's easier for me. And I like it better that way. But whenever you do get ready to drill this, and again, if you go to a quick build guide, it'll walk you through all of this. But you'll see there's a round circle right here if you had this in your hand, or when you get it in your hand. And that's an indentation where pushes this out of the mold. If you go right in the middle of that circle, gives you a perfect in the middle of this right here. So easy way to do it. Just go in the middle of that round circle, drill your 1/8 inch hole, and you're in good shape. And we'll go ahead and get this put on. And we'll just put it flush here. And we're gonna give ourselves a 1/16 inch pilot hole. This one's already got the hole in there. And we're gonna use a 5/8 inch screw. And let's go ahead and get this drilled in. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do a 1/16 inch. And this one, there we go. And 5/8 inch screw also. And before you drill it, just want to make sure that it's flush here on the end. Okay, now we're ready to drill these out. So normally you would be drilling through this wood and this wood when you do this. You know, these have this has been used before and this hole's there, so we'll just be drilling through one. But you put your motor arm on and just make sure there's nothing in here, you know, inside the socket here. And you'll hold it down, push it down like this. We're going to use an 1/8 inch bit. I think the quick build guide says 9/64, either way. And you put it on, you put your bit in, and it doesn't take very much pressure, just you know, press down a little bit and let it pull its way through. And this part here is actually going to act as a bit guide, and it's going to put it right where it needs to go. So hold this down and set your bit in and just let it, a little bit of pressure and let it pull its way through, and there you go. Real easy to do. I helped my bit come out, and if you guys have been watching these, you know why. This drill is getting a little age on it, and it doesn't want to hold it in very well, but I love this drill. So same thing, hold this down, the adjustment head, little bit of pressure, it'll pull its way through, and there you go. Let's go ahead and get this one on. Again, same thing. You want to make sure your motor arms are where you want them. For this one, we're pulling it all the way to the 90s, but you want to make sure that's in place or where you want it. There we go. And we'll double check that again. Hold this in place. And a little bit of pressure, it'll pull its way through. There we go. Now we'll clean this out. I use one of the small bits, and I usually do it from the bottom side. Seems to work a little bit better. And we'll get those shavings out of there. There we go. And you just want to make sure everything's out of the sawtooth and the bottom of that receptor there. And we'll do the same thing here, clean these out, make sure. We're not going to have much in here because, you know, the holes were already drilled, but normally there is a bit, or, you know, quite a bit of step in there to get out. So I'm gonna kind of get this cleaned off. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and get one of the nuts, and we're gonna slide it into the receptor, hold it in with our finger. We're gonna put the arm on. We get a screw with a washer on it. Again, all this is in the kit, or if you buy the lugs separately, they're all with the lugs. And we'll get it started. Now this one's set at 60 and 60. 60 degrees from the front back and from the back to the front. Or if you're out 90 degrees this way, is that, be 30 degrees this way. And this is in 15-degree increments. So if you're going forward, you'll be 30 degrees, so 15, 30. Or if you're all the way front, 15, 30, 45, 60. And again, if you've been watching these videos, it's you can move these around. You can move them around in the field. They're that easy. Takes 2 seconds. Well, a little bit more than 2 seconds. 20 to 30. That's about it. And we'll go ahead and get another screw with a washer. We're holding the nut here at the bottom. And we'll get this one started. So, it's pretty nice. You can move these around 15, 30. Sorry about that. And it takes just a little bit of time. So you can experiment with, 45 or 60, or, even at a 15, 15 this way or 15 that way, which would be, 75? Back this way. So it's pretty neat what you can do with it. And you'll be surprised how it affects the flying. It really does. Okay, we get that nut put in. Put the arm on. Screw again with the washer. And we'll get it started. We're going to go at 15, 30. Now we'll tighten these up and we're going to double check it and, cinch it down good before we fly. Again, we'll put the nut in the receptor and we'll hold it in with our finger. Put a screw with a washer. Just that fast this thing's going together. It's pretty neat. 15, 30, 45, 60. Good to go. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and put our landing gear on. And again, these the landing gear come with one hole. And again, if you want them, the screws on the same side, you'll have to do that number and that number. So if you want them all on the same side, there's two of them that you're going to have to drill an extra hole in. This one is already there, but you're going to drill on this side. Again, the round circle is there again. If you go in the center of that, it perfectly lines up with the other side. So easy way to do it. Again, make sure these are pushed all the way down. And we'll use our 16th inch bit again. And we'll drill a pilot hole. Let's just make sure it's all the way. Yep. Again, 16th bit for pilot hole. Make sure it's all the way. Pilot hole. You can see where this has been used before, and we already have it. Okay. And let's go ahead and drill this pilot hole. There we go. And these are 5/8 screws again. We'll go ahead and get those put in. This one in. Now the motors that we use, or that I've used, are on the product page, and I've had real good luck with them. So I list on there what I've used, and hopefully that helps out in making your decision on what you want. Now, what I've done is what I normally do, is that I put these on the wrong side. The holes here are correct. The holes here are not correct. I want them all on the outside. So instead of taking it all apart, what we're going to do is go ahead and re-drill 1/8 inch holes. And I tell you what, I am the worst about this. And we'll go up about 3/8 of an inch and in the center. And I guess I'm doing this because, see, I just wanted to show you how to do it right. I do this all the time. But we'll have holes on either side. So, you know, it'll work out on the next build, and it'll work out on this one. So again, about 3/8 of an inch. And in the middle of the gear. There we go. I'll get these right on this one though. How about that? There we go. Now again, we're going to use a 16th inch bit. We're going to make sure that these are all the way in. Good, and we're going to drill our pilot hole. Again, 5/8 inch screw. These put in. I mean, just this fast. You see how quick it goes together. And we'll make sure these are pushed in all the way. There we go. Again, the 16th inch bit. And we're going to drill the pilot hole. There we go. 5/8 screws, or long screws. Okay. Our frame is put together, and that's good. There we go. So, next thing we're going to do is get our deck trimmed out, measured up and trimmed. Now, you will have to, when you get to the, and again, it's all in the quick build guide, but you get to this point, get it all put together just how you want it, and then you'll have to trim this piece and the piece that goes at the bottom of the pan. So, whenever you get ready to trim this, and we do that so you can get a nice fit with it. So, you'll go from this point here to this point here, and you can measure it, or you can do like I do and kind of cheat, just kind of hold this up to there and give yourself a mark, and I'll tell you what, it usually comes out pretty good. You know, give you a mark right there. And let's go ahead and get this part trimmed out first. Let me get my square. It's a lot easier this way. There we go. Then we're going to go ahead and, you know, you can cut it with a saw. I tell you what, cutting it with this blade works really, really well too. And I've gotten kind of used to doing it. Although sometimes I have a little small band saw, I use it. But, you know, you got to run this through a few times, and if you have a mat, it works real well. Go it through a few times and get a nice cut. There we go. And hopefully that's a good fit, and it is. See? Nice fit. We're going to do the same thing this way. Again, you can measure it, or, you know, just do it like this. I'm just trying to fit it where you can see. So we'll hold it up against here, and we'll give ourselves a mark right here. And we're going to do the same thing. And I think I'll just go ahead and measure this one. Let's see. Okay. Now this is a lot easier to cut with using a knife because it's going with the grain. So it's really a lot easier to cut. Now we use basswood on everything, on a flat wood and a square, and I tell you, I'm sold on it. It's an age-old wood for, you know, modelers, and it works really, really good. I would highly suggest, if you buy one of our kits, that's what you're going to get. If you're doing it on your own, I would highly suggest to use it. It really works well. Let's see how this fits. Let me go ahead and go in this way. These won't be in the way. There we go. Really nice fit. A little bit of gap here, no problem. That's the way I like it. And it's a good fit. So, works really well doing it that way. So, measure or mark, it works the same. Or, it both works. Now, you have this hole here in the motor arm lug. And we drilled, you know, this through the other side. And this is where it kind of comes in handy. We're going to use our 16th inch bit, and we're going to drill it through this deck. Then we're going to run a screw from the other side. And hold the deck with your hand. Just keep your fingers out of the way. Put a little bit of pressure. We're going to be drilling through this wood, the crossover wood, and through this. So a little bit of pressure, the bit will find a hole on the other side of this motor arm, and it'll go right through. So you may have to just wiggle the bit just a hair bit, But if you do that, it will find the hole that you drilled through. And that's the reason we do it. And it'll go right on through. It works really well like that. Now we're going to use the 1/8 inch bit, and we're just going to drill just through the deck. And the reason we're doing that is keep it from splitting. Because you can get it to split if you don't do that. And we're going to use a 5/8 screw again. And we're going to go ahead and do this before we drill any others. And there we go. Now we're drilling or making threads through this glass reinforced nylon. It's tough. That's the reason you hear it straining a little bit. I really prefer using a smaller drill. If you use a bigger drill, just be careful with it. I like to, no matter which drill I use or size drill I use, I like finishing this off by hand, and we will do that in a minute. Because I tell you what, with a big drill, if you let it get away from you, it'll pull the screw through this wood, and because this stuff is so tough, and you'll have your, a screw that's not doing you any good. So if you used a bigger drill, just stop a little bit sooner and finish it off by hand. And we're going to hold the deck on with our fingers again on the other side. Just be careful. We're going to move the bit around a little bit. It'll find the hole and it'll go right on through. And just a little pressure. You don't need, a ton of pressure. And I'm drilling this, putting the screw here and at the opposite on the other side. And we'll go ahead and use our 1/8 inch bit and do us a hole in the wood to keep it from splitting. And we're going to use a 5/8 screw again. Again, this is all on the quick build guide. Okay, we'll stop it there. We're going to finish that by hand. Now we'll go ahead and drill both of these other holes because after you put 2 in like that, you're good to go on the others. Again, to hold, the decking up with this hand here. A little bit of pressure, wiggle it around a little bit, it'll find a hole on the other side and go through. Same on this one. And we'll go ahead and 1/8 inch bit and drill a hole through the deck, just through the deck, and keep it from splitting. There we go. And again, 5/8 screws. I got me some sitting on the side over here. Okay, we'll finish that off by hand. Same thing with this one. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull it tight by hand. And I'll show you a little something here. That's kind of neat. We didn't do this on purpose. Just kind of worked out that way. You turn it over and you'll see the screw on this side of the hole. It's not coming through, but you can see the tip of the screw. And that tells you pretty much you're right where you need to be. It's tight enough. We're in good shape. Now, we're going to go ahead and turn it over and we're ready to put our pan on. This is going to cover up our ESC. Our ESC is going to go here. This is going to cover it up, and our battery mount is going to be on here. So excuse all of these holes, but like I was saying earlier, I've used this actually probably a couple of times, to be honest with you. And this should be, okay, we're ready to put the pan on. And it's going to be 3 inches by 6 inches, approximately. We give you a 3 by 6 inch piece. And you know, this actually, if you measure it out, comes out to like 5 7/8. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold it flush here, and I'm going to cheat and just mark it. So we'll hold this flush, and I'll give myself a mark right here. Then I'm going to use my square. There we go. And again, I'm going to use the knife and cut this. And we'll hold it there. There we go. And this should be good shape. Now we'll go ahead and see if we need to adjust these at all for our 3 inches. And you know, that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and shoot a screw here and one here, then we'll do some adjusting. Again, 1/16 inch hole. We're going to use 1/16 inch bit rather. And we'll hold that flush and this flush here. And we'll go ahead, before we do that, let's mark this and I'll show you what I'm doing. There we go. What I'm doing is marking a, let me do this too. We're giving ourselves a couple of marks, and if you'll see the center of this right here, putting a mark, and the center of this piece, putting a mark. And then what I did, I put in the center of this area right here on your body support lug, put a mark. Same thing here in the center. I'm gonna go ahead and draw lines. You do not obviously have to draw the lines all the way. You can, you know, keep it clean of lines, but I do. Doesn't bother me. And we'll go ahead and mark these this way, and then where they intersect is where we're going to drill some holes. So you don't have to go all the way with it, you know, you could just right there where they're going to intersect and, you know, keep the bottom a little bit cleaner. And we'll do that. Now I'm going to get me a piece of used wood and use it as, you know, to drill through here and use it so it doesn't blow out the back as much. This was a piece I was going to use used wood, and I didn't realize it wasn't a full 3 inches, so I went ahead and cut, you know, another blank 3 by 6, and that's what you'll be getting in the kit if you buy the kit. And so that's the reason this one doesn't have any holes. This was actually the one we were going to use. So we'll use that as a backing for this one to help out on the blowout. So we're going to drill a pilot hole through here, and that's to keep this from splitting. If you don't do this, this is pretty close to the edge, and most likely it will split on you. Again, if it does split, basswood is really good with CA, so you can put some thin CA and it will definitely take care of that if you do split it. So, you know, you just take it off, put some thin CA, let it dry, and you're good to go. Okay. So we'll clean some of this off. Okay, now we're ready. We'll double check this right here. Make sure it's level or smooth there and here and here. So it looks good. We're going to use a 1/16 inch bit again. we're going to drill a hole through the body support lug. And we'll go ahead and do this one too. And it lined right up with the existing hole that was in there. That's one good thing about using these over and over. A lot of the holes get created and it makes it a lot easier. We're going to be using 3/8 inch screws here, 3/8 inch long. And there we go. Now we're going to get ready to drill these. Make sure we can move these motor or body support lugs if we need to. But you know, I think we set them pretty good to start out with. I'm pretty happy with it. And we're going to use our 1/16 inch bit again. And that one lined up. There we go. Again, 3/8 inch, 3/8 inch long screws. Okay, let's see. There we go. There we go. And we're going to finish these off by hand. And really and truly, the more you can do that, the better you're going to like it. It really makes a better job. I think this one here went into an existing hole that was bigger and alright, it's a smaller screw maybe. Let's see. I was gonna think they was stripped out. And it may be. Yep. So let's go ahead, and that was an existing one. So let's go ahead and move this over a little bit. There we go. And we're going to re-drill this. There we go. So there we go. Now what we're going to do next is put our battery mount on. And again, this has been used before. This is, this can go here, but what we're going to do is put it in this area here. On the 540, it's long enough to where we can, and that's the reason we push this one, where the ESC is going to go, we push it forward. You can put this in the middle here between this arm and this arm and put the battery on the bottom like we do the 380 and the 480. But if you run the camera, this is the front, and you run the camera here and you put your battery here, it gives it a good offset. If you're not running a camera, believe it or not, it doesn't hurt at all to have it here. And it keeps your battery down a little bit from, you know, from hanging down. Also, it gives you an area here to mount a camera on, or a gimbal if you wanted to. So it works out really well like this. So we're going to go ahead and keep the battery mount all the way, you know, really close to this crossover wood like that. And the battery will wind up going straight through here. And I've run 6000s and they come right up to the edge right in here. It works out just perfect. Okay, so we're going to get us a center mark here. You know, that's about 4.5, so you know, it'd be 2 1/4 approximately. And again, we'll do it here. And give me a good close center there. And that's about it right there. And then we're going to line it up to the wood here, this wood, so it's level with that wood there, or straight, you know, lined up with it. And again, we're going to use our 16th inch bit. And here we're using 1/4 inch screws. You definitely want to put these in by hand because you will strip them if you use a drill. So we'll get these put in and I'll show you how we're going to make that a lot stronger like we do on most of the others once we're finished. And I'm kind of lining this up right here. And we'll put another one in. And again, we're going to put it in at the opposite side. 1/8 inch bit, 1/4 inch screw. And we're going to put it in by hand. And we'll do it again. Now that we have those two, we can drill these two straight through, or together rather. We'll go ahead and tighten that up by hand. And we'll use this one. Now what we do, or what I do, you know, I tighten these up. You can't get too much with it, it will strip out. And it holds it very good, like it is. But what we're going to do is take some thin CA and we're going to put a little bit on either side, and that locks it in. And I mean, it doesn't take much at all. In fact, I got a little bit too much on this one, but no big deal. And if you want to take this off, you know, if you have a mishap or something, you need to take this off. You can get a screwdriver underneath it and pop it off. The wood's going to come with it, but you can, you know, use a knife and take the wood off the battery mount. This battery mount was done that way prior. I used a screwdriver and snapped it off the wood, and we're using it again. So even with the CA, it's really locks it down, but you can still get it off if you have to. We're going to go ahead and put this on, and I really should have done this before we put it on, but we'll get it. I'll go ahead and get this through. There we go. Really locks it in. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit of loop here that we're going to Velcro we're going to put down, and I'll be right back. I cut a couple pieces of Velcro, and again I use the loop on all the Velcro that I put on the multi-rotor, and then I use hook on everything that I'm going to put on to the multi-rotor, including the battery. And that's just the way I do it, keep everything consistent. Obviously, you do it the way it works for you. Okay, we got it trimmed off, and I'm going to put these bits up. We're just about done with this, and that's just how easy this goes. Again, we have our battery mount on with a little bit of thin CA, strap, Velcro. We have our pan on. Our ESC is going to go underneath there. Our landing gear are on. Our deck is on. Our motor arms. And it's locking in there really, really good. Our body is going to fit like that. And we're going to put our side pieces on. And, you know, we'll hot glue those on. And that'll give us our point to screw this down. So what I think I'll go ahead and do is cut these pieces, and I'll be right back, and let me grab a piece of foam. Okay, the body comes with a piece of 3x6, and that's used, you know, for this right here, or for the connection. We're going to measure that. I'm going to run it all the way from the inside to the inside here. So we'll take a measurement, and it's, you know, like 5 3/8 or 5 1/4 rather. So we're going to make it about 5 3/8 long. And if I'm not mistaken, this comes out to be 7/8 of an inch, and it does. So we'll give us a mark at 7/8 of an inch. And we have videos out on this and on mounting the body, but I figured we'd go ahead and do it while we're doing this build also, or the frame build. But I'm gonna, you know, attach at the bottom here a link to the video on how to you know, install the body, which is nothing more than what we're doing now. And also I'll have a link to, you know, putting it together or assembling the body. So let me get these cut here. And then we said we wanted it, what, 5 3/8? Let's see. I'm sorry, right there. Five 3/8. Go ahead and cut these. And these are going to wind up going on like that. And then you'll be able to shoot a screw here and here if you want to, or, you know, diagonally, one on each side. And this will just be mounted, you know, in the middle like that. And then we put the body where you want it this way. And I normally even it up, but you don't have to. You can, you know, push it back or whatever you want to do. But I normally even it up a little bit. And it'll fit side to side pretty good in there. So I mean pretty tight rather. Then you line these up, put a little bit of, well actually you can line these up and give yourself a mark where they're going to go on either side. And then whenever you hot glue them on, just put your little bead right here and just put it in between these two marks and hold it, you know, flush with the bottom. and you're good to go. And that's all there is to that. So I'll do that in a minute, and after you do that, you can just use a 1/16 inch bit, make a hole through here into your body support lugs, and then we use a 3/8 screw with a washer, and it comes, your kit or your body is going to come with these, and you use a 1/16 inch bit, just push it through the foam and make a hole through the body lug, and put the screws in with the washers, and you're done. Holds really well. It doesn't, you know, tear up the foam at all. And there you go. And we give you some stickers with it. You can put those on there like we do here, or you can paint it up or do whatever you want to with it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get a sticker on there and get this glued on and screw it down, and that completes the build, the frame build. We'll have the next video is going to be out on it, doing the electronics, and then we're going to go fly it. Anyway, this is Danny with QuadLugs. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next build. This is a 540 camera quad. Thanks, man.